So we were talking about the role of physio in pre-exercise assessment, exercise prescription, weight loss, and patient education. I suppose I am visible and audible to everybody. Now coming to the exercise testing part. So most older adults do not require an exercise test prior to initiating a moderate intensity PA program as recommended by ACSM. So as we all know, like 1 second please. As we all know, there is something known as exercise testing, which we all basically ideally should do before prescribing an exercise program. But as the guidelines suggest, we don't need to do any exercise test prior to starting in any moderate intensity exercises in older elderly adults. Okay, but if exercise testing is recommended due to various conditions I will be discussing later, it should be noted that associated ECG had higher sensitivity and lower specificity than in younger age, producing a higher rate of false positive outcomes. So as we all know that there are some criteria for exercise testing termination, but and ECG is one of the criteria for exercise testing termination. But what happens in elder adults? Uh, the ECG has higher sensitivity. That means there will be higher chances of false positive results. So that is why ECG is not so reliable. And why this happens? This happens because there is a greater frequency of left ventricular hypertrophy and increased presence of conduction disturbances in older people. So, although there is no specific exercise test termination criteria for older people, beyond those presented in all adults, the increased prevalence of cardiovascular, metabolic, and orthopedic problems among older adults increases the overall likelihood of early exercise test termination. देखिए, there is no particularly fixed criteria separately for older adults for termination of the test, but this is but obvious that the termination will be uh, earlier as compared to the younger population due to various problems. Okay, so now therefore exercise testing in older adults will require subtle differences in both protocol and methodology and should only be performed when indicated by a physician or other healthcare provider. That's why we are normally not doing exercise testing. I will be telling you what we are doing in the pre-assessment thing. Currently, there is a paucity of evidence demonstrating increased mortality and cardiovascular event risk disease during exercise or exercise testing in this segment of population, therefore eliminating the need for exercise testing unless medically indicated. So evidence also suggests कि अगर आप exercise testing नहीं भी कर रहे हैं, so there is no separate increase in mortality or cardiovascular events. Otherwise, individuals free from CVD symptom should be able to initiate a light to moderate intensity without any undue risk. Now, what are the ACSM recommendation? ACSM, as we all know, stands for American College of Sports Medicine. So, उन्होंने 2015 में कुछ recommendation दिए थे for pre-exercise screening. ठीक है? So, the basic aim was that exercise is great for most of the people, and we want people to exercise. Okay? So, just because हम पहले क्या होता था? कोई भी exercise start करने से पहले we said कि medical clearance is necessary. So, that is again a big barrier in itself. उसकी वजह से क्या होता था, मोस्ट ऑफ पीपल डोंट एक्सरसाइज, तो उनको उस प्रोसेस को सिंप्लीफाई करने के लिए ACSM people have issued this recommendation, and there are 3 points to consider. First being current activity level of the patient, second is sign and symptoms of certain diseases, and third is planned exercise intensity or the intensity at which you plan to do the exercise. These 3 points are very important is in determining the exercise eligibility of the patient. But as we all know, liability issues are always there. If the patient is coming at you, then liability will be yours. ठीक है? This is for sure. आप ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते कि ACSM में recommendation दिया था इसलिए आप liable नहीं है. You are always liable, especially in the Indian scenarios. So that's why I always advise take a proper, basically consent from the patient before starting any treatment. मेरे क्लिनिक पे अगर पेशेंट सिंपल OA का ट्रीटमेंट के लिए भी आ रहा है, आई टेक अ प्रॉपर कंसेंट. देयर इज अ रिटन फॉर्मेट. हम लोग कंसेंट के बिना वी डोंट टच द पेशेंट. फाइन. सो दैट इज व्हाई आई आल्सो सजेस्ट टू यू कि आप यहाँ पे भी सेम कीजिए. एंड द न्यू एक्सरसाइज प्री पार्टिसिपेशन हेल्थ स्क्रीनिंग recommendations are not a replacement for sound clinical judgment. So your clinical judgment will be the most important thing in this regard, and refer clients to a healthcare provider for medical clearance before they start an exercise program on case by case basis. Okay. So what this pre-participation health screening suggests, this is updated for 2015 and beyond. First question is, does the individual currently exercise regularly or not? जैसे हमने पहले बोला था, 3 क्वेश्चन सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी हैं. फर्स्ट इज दिस, डज द इंडिविजुअल करंटली एक्सरसाइज रेगुलरली और नॉट. हम सबसे पहले बात करते हैं यस सिनेरियो की. अगर पेशेंट करंटली एक्सरसाइज कर रहा है तो व्हाट हैपेंस. सेकंड इज, does she or he have any cardiovascular, metabolic or renal disease or sign and symptom that suggest so. ठीक है, अगर पेशेंट डेली एक्सरसाइज कर रहा है तो भी उसको इन कार्डियोवैस्कुलर, मेटाबॉलिक या कोई भी रीनल डिजीज के साइन एंड सिम्टम्स है. अगर है तो does he or she have known but asymptomatic disease, यानी पेशेंट को डिजीज तो है बट वो एसिम्टोमेटिक है, बट पेशेंट नोज द थिंग. अगर ऐसा है तो देन नो मेडिकल क्लियरेंस इज रिक्वायर्ड for moderate intensity exercises. ठीक है, and then you can gradually progress to vigorous exercises if there are no changes in symptom. यानी पेशेंट डेली एक्सरसाइज रूटीनली पहले से कर रहा है, उसको कोई नॉन डिजीज है बट दैट इज एसिम्टोमेटिक, देन आपको बेसिकली मॉडरेट एक्सरसाइज के लिए कोई मेडिकल क्लियरेंस की जरूरत नहीं है. बट अगर पेशेंट एसिम्टोमेटिक नहीं है, in this scenario I am talking about, then does she or he have sign or symptoms suggestive of cardiovascular, metabolic or renal diseases. अगर है साइन और सिम्टम, पेशेंट सिम्टोमेटिक है, डिसकंटिन्यू द एक्सरसाइज एंड सीक मेडिकल क्लियरेंस, एंड नो तो नो मेडिकल क्लियरेंस रिक्वायर्ड फॉर मॉडरेट टू विगरस एक्सरसाइजेस. ठीक है, अगेन दिस इज द सेम थिंग. बट अब कमिंग टू दिस सिनेरियो, पेशेंट वाज डूइंग एक्सरसाइज रेगुलरली, he or she has the disease but there are no symptoms, then no medical clearance is required to continue moderate or vigorous exercises which may progress as tolerated following the ACSM guidelines. Now coming to this side, right side, if the patient is not doing exercises previously, no, and he or she have any cardiovascular, metabolic or renal disease or any sign and symptom which suggests so, then medical clearance is definitely required. But if the patient is not doing any disease exercises previously and the patient is have known diseases, then no medical clearance required for light to moderate intensity exercises, and then you can gradually progress to vigorous exercises. ठीक है, यहाँ पे देखिए आप moderate, you will start with light, progress to moderate and then progress to vigorous if there are no symptoms. Fine. Now the risk for acute exercise related cardiovascular events are highest among sedentary adults. जैसा हमने पहले बात किया था, as we have talked earlier, being sedentary is a very health hazard. So why? Because the risk of cardiovascular events are highest among this population. Fine. Therefore, the goal of pre-participation health screening is to assess and mitigate this risk, but not to present unnecessary obstacles or excessive burden or individual or clinician. So, देखिए, just as I have told you earlier, pre-participation health screening is not to create a barrier to exercise, but just to mitigate the risk. Okay, just to do the things in a risk-free way. Physically active, जो हमने पहले बात की कि patient physically active है या नहीं है. So what the physically active means? Physically active is defined as one who engages in planned, structured physical activity at least 30 minutes at moderate intensity on at least 3 days per week for last 3 months. Fine. And what are the sign and symptoms? जो second बात कर रहे थे, patient को cardiovascular, metabolic or renal disease है या कोई sign and symptoms है. So what are the sign and symptoms? Shortness of breath at rest or with mild exertion, chest discomfort of any type, dizziness, orthopnea or paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, ankle edema, palpitations or tachycardia, intermittent claudications, known heart murmurs, unusual fatigue or shortness of breath with usual activity. So these are grossly the sign and symptoms you have to take care of. Now, अगर हमको exercise testing नहीं करनी, so pre-assessment में हम क्या कर सकते हैं? Another option is physical performance testing. This is another array of the tests which we can do in the elderly population, and these tests have largely replaced exercise stress testing for assessment of functional status in the older adults, as proven by Gurulin, JM and et al. And these are some test batteries which have been developed and validated. These are all validated. ऐसा नहीं है कि vaguely हम बता रहे हैं. These are the validated and correlated to the underlying fitness domains, whereas others have been developed and validated as predictors of subsequent disability, institutionalization and death. So दोनों चीजों में हेल्प करेगा, आपको फिटनेस डिटर्मिनेशन में हेल्प करेगा, एंड इट विल आल्सो हेल्प इन प्रिडिक्शन ऑफ सब्सिक्वेंट डिसेबिलिटी और इवन डेथ आल्सो. फिजिकल परफॉर्मेंस टेस्टिंग इज अपीलिंग दैट these tests require little space. आप क्लिनिक में इजीली कर सकते हैं, very little equipment is required and cost is also very low. and it can be administered even by a lay person or health or fitness personnel with minimal training, and are considered extremely safe in healthy and both the clinical population. Fine. So what are the most widely used physical performance tests have been identified cut points indicative of functional limitation associated with poor health status that can be targeted for an exercise intervention. So जैसा कि सभी चीज में होता है, इन एक्सरसाइज फिजिकल परफॉर्मेंस टेस्ट के अंदर भी देयर आर वेरियस कट पॉइंट्स, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली वी कैन से कि वेदर द पर्सन इज फिट, वेदर द हेल्थ इज पुअर और नॉट. अगर उससे लो स्कोर आता है, if the score is low than the that particular cut point, so the patient is obviously not so fit. Similarly, how we can judge the progress depending on the change in the cut point score. So this is based on the scoring system, you can say. Before performing these assessments, what are the things we have to take into considerations? We should carefully consider the specific population for which the test was developed, because each test is developed for different type of population. Be aware of the known flow or ceiling effects of the that test and understand the context of the testing. Now these are the commonly used physical performance test. First is senior fitness test. Another is short physical performance battery. Usual gait speed test. 6-minute walk test is very easy and can be easily done at the clinic. Continuous scale physical performance test. So as you all can see, these tests can be administered very easily and require very little time, and there is a cut point indicator for that particular population. For example, if you are talking about a 6-minute walk test, less than or equal to 25 percentile of age based norm is the cut point. अगर उससे कम है तो patient की जो physical fitness है वो low score है. Fine. Similarly, you can check, because this is not the right time to talk to all about these all tests in details, because that will take a lot of time. I will be conducting a webinar again on these tests separately. Don't worry, you can all attend that webinar. The senior fitness test was developed using a large, healthy, communicating dwelling sample. So just have a wait. Let's discuss about one of these senior fitness tests. This consists of 7 items. One is 30-second chair stand. Patient chair पे बैठेगा, दोनों आर्म्स क्रॉस होगी, स्टैंड करेगा, सिट करेगा, स्टैंड करेगा, सिट करेगा. We have to count for 30 seconds कि कितना स्टैंड एंड सिट कर रहा है वो. Similarly, 30-second arm curls, bicep curls करने हैं. Number of curls we have to count. 8 feet up and go test. 6-minute walk. 2 minute step testing. Steps करेगा 2 minutes के लिए. Sit and reach, बैठ के कितना फीट को टच करने की कोशिश करेगा. बैक स्क्रैच टेस्ट, मतलब कि शोल्डर फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी के लिए होता है, एज वी ऑल नो. सो इसके अकॉर्डिंगली हम स्कोरिंग देंगे. सो ऑल दीज फिजिकल परफॉर्मेंस टेस्ट ओनली चेक द फिजिकल परफॉर्मेंस. ठीक है. सो senior fitness investigators have now published threshold for each test item that define for adult ages 65 to 85 years of age and level of capacity needed at their current age within each domain of functional fitness to remain independent up to the age of 90 years. So जैसे कि evidences मैंने दे दिए हैं, you can just check upon these articles later. डाटा पब्लिश हो चुका है डिफरेंट एज के लिए. तो डिपेंडिंग ऑन कि आपकी पेशेंट की एज कितना है, व्हाट इज द एज ऑफ योर पेशेंट, यू कैन जस्ट कोरिलेट विद द डाटा कि whether the patient is fit or not fit, and then how to determine the exercise intensity of that population. Similarly, for short physical performance battery, data is also published, and a change of 0.5 point in SBPP score defines a small meaningful change, and whereas a change of 1 point is considered a substantial change. That was what I was talking earlier. We can also measure in a quantitative way whether the patient is improving or not. अगर तो physical performance test में there is a improvement, अब again different tests different होते हैं. So depending on the cut points of that particular test, if the improvement is there, you can definitely quantify the improvement also. Fine. So now coming to the exercise prescription as recommended by the ACSM, because ACSM is considered as a gold standard in exercise prescription. So this is based on the 10th edition of the ACSM guidelines released in 2017. Fine. So the general principle of exercise prescription apply to adults of all ages. Adult सभी के लिए ये prescription के principle same रहते हैं. The relative adaptations to exercise and the percentage of improvement in the components of physical fitness among older adults are comparable with younger adults and are important for maintaining health and functional ability. देखिए जो प्रिंसिपल्स हैं, बेसिक फिट प्रिंसिपल, फिट प्रो प्रिंसिपल हम बोलते हैं. फिट स्टैंड फॉर फ्रीक्वेंसी, इंटेंसिटी, basically duration of and the type of the exercise, and pro is progression. That is same for adults and younger adults and older adults. Only the difference will be you have to take into consideration जो हमने पहले डिस्कस किया था कि जो what are the changes in the elderly people, उसके accordingly जो initial exercise prescription होगा, किस intensity से आप start करा रहे हैं, the basic initial intensity will vary in case of elderly people. That is what we have to take into the consideration. Otherwise, principles will be same. Fine. So low aerobic capacity, muscle weakness, and deconditioning are more common in older adults. That will contribute to loss of independence, and therefore an appropriate prescription should include both aerobic, muscle strengthening, flexibility exercises. ठीक है? So ACSM में क्या recommendation देता है? आपको aerobic exercise भी recommend करना patient में. You have to recommend resistance training and similarly flexibility training also. But in case of individuals who are frequent fallers or have mobility limitations, patient may also benefit from neuromotor exercises to improve balance, agility, and proprioceptive training. However, age should not be the barrier to PA because positive improvements are attainable at any age. ये मैटर नहीं करता आप स्टार्ट कहां से कर रहे हैं. There is no starting age for exercise. You can start at any age after proper pre-exercise assessment and under the guidance of a proper exercise specialist. Fine. So aerobic exercises have numerous cardiovascular and musculoskeletal benefits, as we have talked about earlier. And resistance exercises similarly is the only therapy to consistently improve muscle mass. देखिए, the reducing muscle mass is a very big problem in elderly patients. So what happens in many cases, we have to start with the resistance exercise first and then progress to the aerobic exercise, because if patient has low muscle mass, then aerobic exercise cannot be performed in a good way. So in that way, we have to first start with the resistance exercises depending on case to case basis. Once the muscle mass is there, we can start with the aerobic exercise and move on to the balance exercises and the flexibility exercises as well. So depending on the case, you have to clinically judge yourself. Aging is associated with a decline in muscle strength and muscle power, which we all know, which is a combination of force and speed. So कितना force generate कर रही है, that is important, along with the speed of the force generation. ऐसा नहीं कि force तो generate कर रही है, but slow कर रही है. These changes can be described by muscle quality, measured as the force produced per unit of active muscle mass, which estimates the contribution from muscle mass, neuromuscular function, and mechanical, contractile or architectural properties of the muscle. ये हम लोग मेजर कर सकते हैं, एक यूनिट मसल कितना फोर्स प्रोड्यूस कर रही है, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली हम पूरे आपके न्यूरोमस्कुलर जो सिस्टम है उसका फंक्शन को जज कर सकते हैं. फाइन. Now, for exercise prescription, an important distinction between older adults and younger counterparts should be intensity. As I told you earlier, intensity vary करेगा. There is a big difference in the starting intensity as compared to the younger people. देखिए, now what is happening in the younger people, we can prescribe intensity according to the MET levels also. Tables are available which are describing किस एक्टिविटी में कितना MET level consume होता है, ठीक है. But older adults के केस में we can't do this way. Why? Because as I have told you earlier, oxygen uptake will be reduced. Maximum and absolute oxygen uptake will be reduced. So MET levels will not be a very good reliable factors to basically start the intensity. So what we can do in the older adults, we can basically use a RPA scale, 10-point RPA scale, Bogue scale you can say, and any intensity, moderate intensity पे क्या होगा 5 to 6 and vigorous intensity पे 7 का exertion होगा. आपको जैसे सबको पता होगा RP स्केल क्या होता है, रेट ऑफ परसीव एक्सर्शन स्केल होता है. 0 से 10 की रीडिंग होती है. 0 इज नो एक्सर्शन, 10 इज मैक्सिमम एक्सर्शन. सो ऑन 0 to 10 स्केल अगर पेशेंट का एक्सर्शन लेवल 5 to 6 है, दैट मींस मॉडरेट इंटेंसिटी. एंड अगर उसका 7 से ज्यादा पेशेंट स्कोर दे रहा है, दैट मींस vigorous intensity. So what we are doing in older adults, instead of relying on the MET levels to determine the intensity, we are relying on the RP scale or the Bogue scale. Fine, depending on the subjective findings of the patient. A moderate intensity physical activity should produce a noticeable increase in heart rate and breathing, whereas a vigorous intensity PA will produce a large increase in heart rate and breathing. Now coming to the FIT recommendation by ACSM in the elderly people. So FIT, as I told you, frequency, intensity, time and type. Aerobic activities के लिए what is the ACSM prescribing? More than 5 days per week for moderate intensity and more than 3 days per week for vigorous intensity. And if you are performing a combination, then 3 to 5 days. Fine. Intensity for aerobic activities 0 to 10 के level पे, 5 to 6 for moderate intensity exercises and 7 to 8 for vigorous intensity exercises on the Bogue scale, modified Bogue scale you can say. Time is 30 to 60 minutes daily of moderate intensity exercise and 20 to 30 minutes daily if you are doing a vigorous intensity exercise, or an equivalent combination of moderate and vigorous intensity exercise that can be accumulated in bouts of at least 10 minutes each. Fine. And type is any modality that doesn't impose excessive orthopedic stress, such as walking, aquatic exercises, and stationary cycle may be advantageous for those with limited tolerance for weight bearing activity. देखिए हमको पेशेंट को एक्सरसाइज प्रिस्क्राइब कराने के टाइम पे we have to take care that no excessive orthopedic stress is there. Aquatic exercises are one of the very good exercises, but aquatic therapy is very limited in its availability. It cannot be done at the clinic, all the clinics. At my clinic, I am using a stationary cycle because what is the benefit? Because treadmill पे weight bearing होता है, not comfortable for all the patient because patient already have knee pain on, and all the pains. So stationary cycle with a heightened seat is a better option. That's what I think and I practice at my clinics. For resistance training, frequency is more than 2 days per week. Light intensity, that is 40 to 50% of 1 RM for the beginners, and you have to gradually progress to moderate to vigorous intensity, that is 60 to 80% of 1 RM. And alternatively, you can also use a Vogue scale. Again, in this thing, moderate intensity means 5 to 6 reading, and vigorous means 7 to 8 reading on a 10-point Vogue scale. Fine. So आप RM कर सकते हैं measure. That is a very good way. RM 1 RM measure करना I am sure everybody knows. Fine. Time is 8 to 10 exercises involving the major muscle groups, 1 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetition each. So for resistance exercises, we have to do 8 to 10 exercises for major muscle groups. यानी कोई भी 8 muscle group आप ले लीजिए, उसकी exercises करनी है, 1 to 3 sets, and each set have 8 to 12 repetitions. And you have to gradually progress both the weight training as well as the weight bearing calisthenics exercises. Fine. Coming to the flexibility exercise, they should be done more than 2 weeks, 2 days per week, and you have to stretch to the point of feeling tightness or slight discomfort. No excessive stretching. Fine. Hold the stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. That is the time limit. And as any physical activity that maintains or increases flexibility using slow movements that terminate in static stretching. Ballistic stretching nahi karni hai. We have to do only the static stretch. Fine. Now coming to the volume is total 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercises or 75 minutes per week of combined exercise. जैसे हमने बोला एरोबिक एक्टिविटीज के लिए बात करते हैं, 5 days per week किया, 30 minutes किया, so total 150 minutes per week का करना है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं करना है. फाइन. ऐसा नहीं कि आप 30 minutes per day कर रहे हैं और 7 days कर रहे हैं, वो नहीं करना. You have to do, especially at the starting point, you have to do in the limits. Fine. Similarly, progression कैसे करेंगे? The fit components may be increased as tolerated by the patient. Tolerance is very important. To achieve the recommended volume, up to 30 minutes per week of moderate intensity exercises or 100 minutes per week of vigorous intensity exercises. As I told you earlier, initiation should be done for 150 minutes per week and gradually progress to 300 minutes per week. Fine. Now this is a table which is showing recommendation by various organizations. ACSM we have already discussed. CDC stands for Center for Disease Control and Prevention. NIH for National Institute of Health. CSIP EP is Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology, and BSG is for British Genetic Society, and WHO is World Health Organization. सब लोगों ने अपनी अपनी गाइडलाइंस दिया हुआ है. Everybody has given fit principle के accordingly क्या कर सकते हैं, more or less same thing, but I normally use ACSM guidelines. You can see details by yourself. There is a only small difference, like ACSM people suggest moderate intensity. If you are doing, you should do from less more than or equal to 5 days per week. But CDC people, they say more than or equal to 3 days per week is good. Fine. But again, ACSM guidelines are more detailed guidelines that describe both intensity, type, time also, and other guidelines, they don't describe all the things in a proper way. That's why I suggest if you people follow the ACSM guidelines. But depending on the case, you can modify accordingly. Now the neuromotor exercise, as we have discussed already, the patient in which there is repetitive fall or balance problem is there, we can do neuromotor exercises. There is no specific recommendation for neuromotor exercises. However, neuromotor exercise training which combines balance, agility, and proprioceptive training is effective in reducing and preventing falls, and it should be performed 2 to 3 days per week. Fine. And the general recommendation includes progressive difficult posture that gradually reduce the base of support. Simple thing है, gross बात करते हैं, आपको gradually you have to decrease the base of support. अगर base of support decrease कर रहे हैं, patient is still able to do the things, that means उसका balance and coordination improve कर रहा है. Fine. Similarly, dynamic movements that perturb the center of gravity. You have to disturb the center of gravity basically. Example, tandem walking, which we all used to do in our childhood, fine, and circle turns and all those things. You have to stress the postural muscle group, reduce the sensory input, and Tai Chi is another form of balance exercises. Multimodal exercise program that include two or more components of strength, balance, endurance, or flexibility exercise have been shown to reduce fall rates and number of people falling. So multimodal means simple. आपको ये नहीं कि balance exercises ही करा रहे हैं. You have to also include strength, balance, endurance और flexibility training. इनमें से कोई भी दो या दो से ज्यादा का combination आप ले सकते हैं. That will help in reducing the falls, as have also been shown by the proper studies. Exercise done in supervised group such as Tai Chi or individually prescribed home programs have been shown to be effective at reducing fall risk. However, there may be times when supervision is warranted. Again, depending on the case-to-case basis. Once again, special considerations. Intensity and duration of the PA should be light at the beginning, in particular for adults who are highly deconditioned, functionally limited, or have chronic condition that affect their ability to perform physical tasks. So costly क्या है देखिए, अगर पेशेंट डिकंडीशनड है, फंक्शनल लिमिटेशन बहुत ज्यादा है और कोई भी ऐसी क्रॉनिक कंडीशन है फिजिकल और फिजियोलॉजिकल जो उसका फिजिकल एबिलिटी को डिक्रीज कर रहा है, देन वी हैव टू स्टार्ट विद अ वेरी लाइट एक्सरसाइज प्रोग्राम एंड वी हैव टू मॉनिटर इन अ गुड वे. Similarly, progression should be individualized and tailored to tolerance and preference. Fine. A conservative approach may be necessary. Muscular strength decreases rapidly with age, especially for those aged more than 50 years. So therefore, as I told you earlier, resistance training is a very important part in older adults. Younger में बल्कि हम लोग बोलते हैं aerobic is more important, but older के अंदर especially resistance training is very very important. And for strength training involving use of selectorized machines or free weights, initial training sessions should be supervised and monitored by personnel who are sensitive to the special need of the older people. जैसे मैंने बोला, if it's feasible for you and if you can afford, have a special person, especially for elderly people only, and that person will be gradually experienced, and that will be very good for both the patient and your reputation also. Fine. Older adults may particularly benefit from power training because this element of muscle fitness declines most rapidly with aging, and insufficient power has been associated with a greater risk of falls. So as we all know, accidental falls is a very big concern in the elderly people, which leads to various fractures and more dependency. Fine. So we should basically stress on decreasing the chances of falls. Similarly, increasing muscle power in healthy older adults should include both single and multiple joint exercises. Individuals with sarcopenia especially need to increase muscular strength before they are physiologically capable of engaging in aerobic training. This is what I have told you earlier also. And if chronic condition preclude activity at recommended minimum amount, older adults should perform PA as tolerated. ऐसा तो नहीं कि जो बेसिक अमाउंट ने बोला, जैसे मैंने बोला मॉडरेट इंटेंसिटी से स्टार्ट करना, एग्जांपल के लिए 5 to 6 ऑन मॉडिफाइड बोर्ड स्किल, बट पेशेंट नहीं कर पा रहा, ऐसा नहीं उसको कुछ कराया ही नहीं, जितना कर पा रहा है उतना तो करो एटलीस्ट. ठीक है. सो as tolerated, we have to start from somewhere. Older adults should gradually exceed the recommended minimum amounts and attempt continued progression. Fine. So even if we are starting from a very light intensity, then we can gradually progress as tolerated by the patients. Now, moderate intensity PA should be encouraged for individuals with cognitive decline, given the non-benefits of PA on cognition. So physical activity also help in improving the cognition. This we all know. Various articles are available on this thing. So for this, moderate intensity exercises are very very important. But obviously, patient with cognitive impairment will need assistance from you. Structured PA session should end with an appropriate cool down period, particularly among individuals with CVD. Fine. Cool down period is very important, and this should include a gradual reduction of effort and intensity and optimally flexibility exercises. So normal क्या कर सकते हैं आप? जो मेन पीरियड है उसमें यू कैन प्रेस्क्राइब एरोबिक एक्सरसाइज, रेजिस्टेंस एक्सरसाइज, एंड इन द कूल डाउन पीरियड पेशेंट कैन डू द फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी एक्सरसाइजेस. फाइन. Incorporation of behavioral strategies such as social support, self-efficacy, and ability to make healthy choices and perceived safety all may enhance the participation of the patient. The exercise professional should also provide regular feedback, positive reinforcement, and other behavioral strategies to enhance the adherence. Jesa I have told you earlier, motivation is a very important thing. To keep the patient motivated, you should provide the regular feedback and the positive reinforcement to the patient. Simple thing है. If the patient is seeing the improvement, then obviously he or she will be motivated to do more. एंड इम्प्रूवमेंट कैन बी बोथ इन सब्जेक्टिव वेज एंड इन द ऑब्जेक्टिव वेज. सब्जेक्टिव वेज क्या होता है, जो पेशेंट को खुद से लगेगा कि हाँ मैंने इंप्रूवमेंट किया. एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव वेज आर कि वी आर यूजिंग वेरियस स्केल्स, वेरियस मेथड्स, जिससे ऑब्जेक्टिवली यू कैन से कि फर्स्ट इनिशियल स्कोर ये था and the later score is this after the your intervention. So that is known as the objective. So both subjective and objective scaling is very important. And again documentation is the very important thing. We physios lack in documentation. हम document करते ही नहीं है किसी चीज को, सब verbally चल रहा है. So that is very important. वो हमें नहीं करना कभी. Fine. Documentation is again very important. जो भी कर रहे हो, जो भी दे रहे हो, document करो उसको. जो भी आप प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं, make it a proper file. At my clinic आई हैव अ फाइल सिस्टम. मैं हर पेशेंट की डिफरेंट फाइल्स बना देता हूँ. सो कुछ भी फाइंडिंग्स होती है हम उसको फाइल में नोट डाउन कर देते हैं. कुछ भी प्रोग्रेशन करना है फाइल में नोट डाउन किया. इनिशियल असेसमेंट के पेशेंट की हमने उसको फाइल में नोट डाउन किया, बोथ सब्जेक्टिव एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव, ताकि लेटर ऑन वी कैन शो टू द पेशेंट कि क्या इंप्रूवमेंट हो रही है. एंड अगर गॉड फॉरबिडर इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं हो रही तो वी कैन रीएनालाइज अवर होल प्रोटोकॉल की क्यों इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं हुई, एंड वी कैन एक्ट अकॉर्डिंगली. फाइन. Now, this is like patient with specific condition. You can modify your exercise program. Arthritis, cardiovascular disease, diabetic mellitus. Because we are running short of time, so I will not be discussing this thing now. You can just later on study from our videos, which we will be uploading on the basically our YouTube channel. Fine. Similarly, I have discussed for fall, obesity, osteoporosis, and pulmonary diseases. So if you want, we can discuss on a thing like you can say arthritis. So evidence support land or aquatic based physical activity. दोनों में से कोई भी करा सकते हैं, land based or aquatic based. Aerobic training should be 3 to 5 days per week and resistance training 2 to 3 times per week. देखिए, why this is important? अगर पेशेंट पहले से आर्थराइटिस का पेशेंट है तो बट एल्डरली भी है तो आर्थराइटिस के चांसेस ऑब्वियसली ज्यादा है. तो उस केसेस में आपको क्या करना है, यू हैव टू मॉडिफाई योर प्रोग्राम. तो 5 डेज की जगह इनिशियली यू कैन स्टार्ट विद 3 days per week of aerobic activities. रेजिस्टेंस ट्रेनिंग तो सेम है दोनों के लिए ना, रेजिस्टेंस ट्रेनिंग इज 2 days per week, दोनों के लिए सेम है. सो आप अपने प्रोग्राम को मॉडिफाई कर लीजिए. एरोबिक ट्रेनिंग के 3 days से स्टार्ट कीजिए, ग्रेजुअली प्रोग्रेस टू 5 days per week. एंड सिमिलरली एरोबिक exercises, lower extremity strengthening exercises and aquatic exercises can all alleviate pain and improve function in patient with osteoarthritis. So आप aerobic exercise prescribe कर रहे हैं तो you can more focus on the lower extremity in case of arthritic patients. Fine. So depending on this thing, you can modify your exercise programs. Similarly, patient education is very important. You can make various chart, various like pamphlets for the patient. This is what I use at my clinic. Just to give you a gross idea, how preventing deconditioning is very important for the patient and how we should promote the independence in the patient scenario. Similarly, how the prolonged bed rest in older people can lead to substantial loss of muscle strength and physical activity. So we can show to the patient ताकि उसको देखता रहेगा बारी बारी तो उसको याद रहेगा. बिकॉज ऐसा नहीं कि आपने एक बारी बताया पेशेंट सब कुछ समझ जाएगा. दिस इज इन इंग्लिश. यू कैन similarly translate into the Hindi or whatever language, your local language, and just give it to the patient. This flyer shows deconditioning syndrome. How increased risk of fall due to muscle weakness, that will again lead to the constipation and incontinence, increased confusion, disorientation. Lying in the bed can affect appetite and digestion also. Similarly, further immobility due to inactivity and increased risk of swallowing problems leading to basically pneumonia and all others problems. ठीक है? So that is why what is known as deconditioning syndrome, and this is very common in the older people. वो sedentary होंगे, decondition बहुत जल्दी से हो जाएंगे. That is why it is very essential to assess कि sedentary क्यों हो रहा है. Support the patient in whatever way we can and encourage the patient. Assessment में क्या होगा? रिस्क असेसमेंट जरूरी होगा पेशेंट के होम पे. गो टू द पेशेंट होम या जो भी सेटिंग है, असेस कि क्या क्या रिस्क फैक्टर है जो पेशेंट को सेडेंटरी बना रहे हैं. कोई ग्लासेस, हियरिंग एड्स, कैलेंडर्स, ये सब असेसिबल है कि नहीं है. हो सकता है कि पेशेंट को ग्लासेस नहीं है, उसकी विजिबिलिटी में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, तो पेशेंट विल नॉट बी सो मोबाइल. सो डिपेंडिंग ऑन दिस थिंग एंड सेम वे में यू शुड डू अ प्रॉपर जेनेटिक असेसमेंट यूजिंग अ प्रॉपर स्केल्स. फाइन. सपोर्ट जो भी वॉकिंग एड आप उसको देना चाहते हैं या टॉयलेट शीट पे बैठने में हैंडल बार वगैरह, जो भी सपोर्ट पेशेंट रिक्वायर्ड, या सिटिंग के अंदर क्या आप हेल्प कर सकते हैं, गेटिंग ऑन टू द चेयर एंड गेटिंग ऑफ द चेयर. सिमिलरली जो भी चीजें आपको लगती हैं, whatever way you can help in the patient, and you can encourage the patient कि आप खुद से सबकी चीजें कीजिए. डिपेंडेंसी को बेसिकली द सिंपल थिंग इज डिपेंडेंसी को कम करना. encourage the patient to do all the things, feeding, washing, etc. by the patient himself. अगर पेशेंट बैठ नहीं पा रहा, खड़ा नहीं हो पा रहा, बेड रिडन भी है, तो बेड पे एक्सरसाइज करा दीजिए पेशेंट को यार, सिंपल, जितना करेगा उतना अच्छा रहेगा. So thank you basically for listening so patiently, and keep this rule: being sedentary is far more dangerous than physical activity in older adults. इस सारी प्रेजेंटेशन का नटशेल अगर मुझसे पूछेंगे, दिस इज द नटशेल. बीइंग sedentary, पेशेंट को sedentary नहीं लेने देना. जिस भी लेवल पे पेशेंट एक्टिविटी अफोर्ड कर सकता है, डू द एक्टिविटी एट दैट लेवल. गाइडलाइंस आर ओनली टू गाइड यू, दे आर नॉट द बेसिक एनी थंब रूल और सो लाइक. सो अगर पेशेंट बेड रिडन है, पैरालिटिक पेशेंट है, खड़ा नहीं हो सकता इंडिपेंडेंटली, नो सपोर्ट अवेलेबल एट द होम, don't worry, simply ask the patient to do whatever he or she can do at the his or her level of the fitness. Fine. So I suppose you all people have enjoyed the thing, and please do share all your queries in the group, because the time is already over at this end. So just WhatsApp the all your queries into the groups. I will answer each and everything. Don't worry, and do share your feedback in the group. I will welcome